everybody. Not sure if we're live yet. I gotta try to get to refresh. Let's see. There we go. We've got the stream up. Let's bring it up and make sure the audio is coming through. And it is. Hot damn. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit. Let me try that again. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics. This is the Artist Knows Andrew speaking. It is Wednesday night, and we are live streaming. This is usually my draw stream, in which I spend about an hour and do a little bit of drawing. Hey, Manuel's here. Says, good evening, my friend Drew. Welcome, welcome. Glenn says, yup, live. Yes, absolutely. Glenn, I can't believe it, but they tried to do the, hey, Dad, or hey, Grandpa, this is your grandson, and I've been in an accident, and I need money. I can't believe they tried it again on me. This is 3 times in like less than 3 weeks. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So back to what we're here for today. Can't believe I almost forgot to put on the right hat. Tonight is the Misfit Corner Comics. I have the right hat on. But I have the wrong shirt on. I have Misfit Corner Scams. That's all right. It's a crossover stream. We talk about scams as well as drawing. Hey, when you only got 2 things in your life, that's all you can talk about. You know what I mean? All right. I hope everybody can hear me okay. We are going to work on the background to page number 1 of the Hawkeye backup story, which is what I've been working on for a while now. Let me switch this over. As you can see, there's like water damage to my drawing board because one of my damn cats, and I'm not going to say which one, I am not saying names, knocked over my cup of water in the evening and put water all over my floor, which included where my drawing board was laying down. So I'm a little ticked off at the cats for doing that. And I'm not 100% sure which cat it was, so I can't really call out names. But I'm fairly certain it was my cat. I did go out and buy some new drawing pens. These are ones that I use for mostly for backgrounds. These are frickin' A, I'm forgetting what they're called. Most people would use these like there's a lot of nibs. The nibs is the type of the thing on the pen, but it's a quill pen, and most people use these for like what is the fancy writing? I'm forgetting. I am so bad with words, guys. I'm horrible with words. But needless to say, I went out and bought a new set, so I have some really good ones here, and we're going to start working on them. What I was saying before is that I use these mainly for backgrounds, and I did for a majority of Hero Book 2, mainly because you can be a little bit looser with these, and sometimes it adds for some really good effects and so forth. So we'll see what happens. But always best to test the pen out before you start, and then we're just going to get into it. And some of the backgrounds here is just some trees and some foliage and so forth. And What's funny about the quill pen is if a line gets too thick or doesn't look right, it's okay because you're just dealing with the background. So if a line, gets a little like right here, you probably can't see right there. Right here, the ink is bubbling up or building up in this one spot, and that's perfectly fine because once again, we're just working on the backgrounds here. So a lot of this is just filling in space for the moment. And what's cool about doing it with a quill pen is I can be really loose and free with it. So you notice how that's one right here. It's really dark, but that's okay because I'm going to actually fill in this area a little bit darker once I'm done. Yeah, there we go. This pen does not hold a lot of ink, but that's okay. Come on. I'm also using a very small ink bottle, so it's not a very large ink bottle to begin with, and just doesn't feel like it's holding enough ink. Where is my Where is the larger ink bottle that I had? Of course, I cleaned up my desk area, and now I can't find anything. I don't know where the ink bottle is. Alright, well, we're just going to keep working because, you know, we can't stop working. We got to keep working. Doesn't help when... Alright, hold on. Let me find... Let's see if I can find where I put that other ink bottle, because I got a large ink bottle and then this little itty bitty ink bottle. And where, oh where, did I move the large bottle to? It was all in the same spot. And now, of course, I can't find anything. Screw it. Just keep going, Drew. Keep going. Okay. This ink just... what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to hold the ink at an angle in order to get enough ink on the pen. This thing is either not holding very much ink, alright, this is useless. This is not working. Sorry guys, I'll figure this out in just a minute. I need to find that other ink bottle, because it's the reason why it's a deeper ink bottle. I can get the pen to go in even further. Maybe I'll just switch pens. I have another one. Let's see, where is the other... Where is my other pen? Oh. This is the problem with working at my desk, is that I can't find things from time to time. Oh, that's the fine tooth one. I don't want to use that one. Aha, here's the other one. Okay. Alright, this one's a little bit bigger. Alright, let's try this. Alright. Right now, all I'm doing is just filling in lines. And what I was trying to say about one of the advantages of using the quill pen is the line naturally goes thick to thin, and it causes variations on the paper, which is kind of cool for backgrounds, because it kind of breaks up the monotony of a straight line. Because I use a lot, as you can see with the characters and so forth, I use a lot of straight lines. I don't use a lot of variations on the lines, and that's mainly because this is not working very well. All right, and then we're going to add some additional. Honestly, it's been a while since I've used the pen like this, so I can chalk it up to having not used it in a while. But maybe it's the angle I'm holding the paper at. Maybe that's what it is, because I'm getting very few lines out of this. If I wanted this to... All right. I'm going to put that down for a second. And we're going to calmly step away from the page for a minute and do something else, because I'm having issues here, and that's all right. We're going to fill in some black in here. I was originally going to use a quill pen for all of this. It doesn't want to work, so we're just going to play with it. We're just going to fill in some black and use a regular drawing pen. You can hear the frustration in my voice from time to time. When something does not go the way you expect it to, it's a pain in the rear tuchus. It's a pain in the rear. And that's okay. That's okay. You just keep moving forward. Whatever the issue is, you keep moving forward. All right. Now, what's so funny, one of the effects that I do on a lot of my hero art is something you can do easily in Photoshop called a stroke, which allows you to add a line around whatever object is on the page. Usually it's the characters that I draw separate from the backgrounds, but as you can see, I'm drawing the backgrounds directly on the page with the characters, so I don't have the characters separated, which is okay. It just means that I will have to kind of manually draw the stroke. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do is, instead of drawing a white line around the character, I am just going to create a white line around the character. I'm going to fill in the spaces behind the character and just kind of fill in. I know it may not make any sense, but to me it makes perfect sense. Ha 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 ha. Anyway. So Glenn, how was your day? Scam baiting. Do you have any good calls? I know you sent me a couple of recordings I'm looking forward to listening to. But I wanted to ask you something, if you noticed a difference in one of the calls. I've noticed with the marketplace scammers, instead of saying open enrollment or annual enrollment, they've now started to say special enrollment. Because I think they got tired of everybody asking them, when exactly does open enrollment or annual enrollment end, or hasn't it already ended? So now, instead of calling it annual or open enrollment, they're saying special enrollment, which I think is pretty funny. I've actually got a couple of them saying that so far. As a matter of fact, I got one of the robocalls actually said it. I thought that was pretty funny. So that's and just because it's a change, because it's different, I am going to ask them questions about it and make a point to ask them about that, and we'll see what they say. It's like, what exactly is special enrollment? You know? Whoop, got a little black ink on there. That's all right. I know this is extremely boring and super boring, so you haven't got special enrollment yet? Oh, okay. All right, well, it's coming, which I think is pretty funny. Because, you know, I had gotten so many calls where the robo voice says, this is about open enrollment or annual enrollment. And the very first question I ask is, so when does open enrollment or annual enrollment end? What's the deadline? And they quickly hang up. It's like, I mean, come on, guys. That just seems like a simple, no-brainer question to me. But now that they're calling it special enrollment, we'll see what they say. I got to be careful. You can't see it, but do it this way. I'm sticking my hand into the black ink. And the last thing I want to do is smear it on the page. But that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Now, one of the things I like to do, and it's probably just me. Hold on a second. I actually have a scam call coming in. What time is it? It's already after 8. Let's see if there's somebody actually here. Hello?
Hello, this is Kevin. How are you doing today?
Fine, Kevin. Why are you calling me so late? It's already after 8 o'clock. Oh, and he hung up. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to deviate, but you guys are both familiar with the scam calls, so I didn't think it would be unusual for me to take one. But they usually don't call this late at night. Usually by 8 o'clock I'm done. That's one of the reasons why I live stream at 8, you know? But I didn't give him a chance to say anything. He quickly hung up. That's okay. It's one of the reasons why I'm afraid to do a live stream during the day and take scam calls, because I don't know what they're going to say. You know, I thought about doing some live streams where I'm drawing, because right now I'm only drawing literally once a week on Wednesdays, and I need to pick up the pace because there's several things I have to get done. So I thought about doing more live streams during the day. You know, maybe just an hour to a half hour or whatever, just starting when I got a little quiet time. But I'm worried if I take a scam call, being on a live stream, what somebody might say while I'm live streaming. You know, because if they say something bad, they say something nasty, you know, they mention something about my mother or my sister or whatnot, I can always edit that out later. But if you're on a live stream, granted, you can still edit it out later, but it's out there for everybody to see, or everybody to hear, I should say. And I do get them saying some bad things every now and then, but you know, I normally try to not necessarily keep it kid friendly, but you know, or family friendly, but you know, I'm not out there trying to get them to say disgusting things, even though I find it hilarious when they do. But, alright. So, what I'm doing here, this is a technique called hatching, and it's really good for... I don't like to do, especially in the backgrounds and all, I don't like to do solid blacks, meaning, you know, just where it's completely black. I like to have some variations in the backgrounds. So what I'll do is I'll do a lot of cross hatching, and one of the advantages to it is the more layers that you build into it, the more cross hatching you do, the darker it gets. Like, for example, I'll show you an example. Like, lines going this way is kind of dark, but then you add a second layer going this way, and it's a little darker. And you add another layer going this way, and it gets even darker, even though it's not completely black. And then you can do another layer going this way, and it makes it pretty dark, but not completely dark. You know? So it's all a matter of how dark do I want the background to be. So I like to switch it up a little bit. This particular background, I may only go 2 layers, where it's 2 crosses. And then notice how there's a little area here and here and here where I kept it white. What I'll actually do is fill that in, but with only 1 layer of cross hatching. So it makes this area lighter compared to the rest of what's being drawn on. So, and then what I can do is down at the bottom, I can add a 3rd layer, making the bottom area just a little bit darker than the rest. So there's actually a variation where it's darker, then gets lighter, even though it's all cross-hatching and all dark. So that's just a little trick of the trade. And I'm just going to fill in some... Like I said, I don't like to fill in complete blacks, but this part tends to be tedious, to say the least. And so this is one of those things where if I was making a drawing video, I would speed it up to You know, like six times the speed, so that it would go a little bit quicker. But here we're just chit chatting. We're just having a good old time. I saw Glenn. I'm not sure if you saw it, but Roger put out a video where he was on the road taking a funeral expense scam call. It's like you're looking at the back of his head the entire time. But it's a good thing you didn't have the camera pointed at him, you know, not while he's driving, you know. I take several calls, scam calls, while I'm driving, and I tend to get yelled at by people when I'm in the car. If I'm by myself, I can get away with anything, but when I'm with somebody, I usually get yelled at. All right. What I'm probably going to do is when I'm done with this image, fully done with it, I will add a line. One of our favorite tools to use for our art is whiteout pens. Something we didn't have a lot of growing up. In high school, we kind of got a hold of them and used them more often. But whiteout pens are wonderful for adding a stroke to your art, and I will do that eventually. Oh, my eyes are already getting tired. Honestly, I think it has more to do with the lighting in here. I don't have the greatest lights in here. I have the two lights on me. Glenn says, I got on a other spoofed call from the local FBI field office. I've added the number to my address book, so I know it's not them to call them back. Very good, very good. Manio says, hey, robocall from my insurance company. Yep, saw it. His wife was the one recording. Yep. I watched SWS this morning. Great job. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's good he had somebody in the car recording for him, but I've attempted to take a second phone into the car with me in order to, because I have one phone, of course, records the call, but then I was going to have another phone pointing at me to record me, and then I thought to myself, that's probably not a very safe way to drive. So even though I have an extra phone, I don't worry about it too much. I don't worry about it a lot. All right. There's some bubbling ink areas over here where I use too much ink. I need to get a paper towel or a napkin and dab that a little bit so I don't leave the buildup of ink to stick my hand in and then smear it over something else. So for the meantime, let me grab a napkin real quick. I got one right here. Yep, see? Look at all that ink. All that ink that could have potentially ruined my drawing. But it's okay. Alright. So this character is crouching down in front of a rock, which is considered the background. And the wolves, of course, are in the background as well. So there's a stroke line separating the character from the background. So there won't be a stroke line around the background characters because technically they're part of the background, if that makes any sense. But then I'm also going to use, I'm going to do some foreground drawing. Literally just draw like weeds or grass in front of him, like I did a shadow right here, or negative drawing here of leaves so that they're kind of there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right. Actually, I'd already put in shadow over here, and I'm just going to merge them in with the background. It's okay. Actually, what I might do is make the shadow behind him more black, more darker. It'll make sense later. Actually, you know what I might do, which would make more sense, is make the shadow behind him solid. Yeah, that might actually work out well. All right, I'll figure it out. I'll make it work. Sometimes this process is a lot of trial and error. You just try it over and over again until you get it right. And I honestly, that's what I do a lot of times, because I'll do a drawing, I'll work on a drawing, then I'll step back and look at it from a distance and realize something doesn't work or something doesn't work right, and either fix it or live with it. And in some cases we can fix it, some cases you just got to live with it. And in some cases I'll just fix it digitally, which that happens a lot. I hate to say, it does happen a lot, where I'll make a mistake, I'll put an error, a line in error. Move this out of the way, I don't need it right this second. So, make a line in error and you can fix it digitally. Actually, what's really funny, one of the funniest stories about Hero is, I've probably told the story before, but I'm going to tell it again just for poops and giggles. I was laying down, trying to rest, take a nap, and I had the idea, this image hit me in the head. I don't know if it came to me, I'd say it was a dream, but it wasn't necessarily a dream. But this idea came to me of a hero with a sword, and behind him was this giant snake, like wrapping around him. And I imagined the snake was all in shadow. And behind the snake was stars. And you could see the outline of the snake, because of course none of the stars were on the snake. So that's how it, and so I woke up and I laid out this image of this hero. And my dog and I had come across a raccoon, a big-ass raccoon, earlier that morning. And so the raccoon is what actually inspired the character of Hero. And when I drew the layout, I did a really quick drawing of the character, the image that was in my head. And of course, he had a tail, a big old tail, and he had a sword in his hand. Well, when I did the original drawing, which I actually have up on the wall right up above me, I forgot to draw his tail. I completely and utterly forgot to draw his tail and had to digitally add the tail in later. So in the image that I have printed in the book, he of course has his tail, but on the original art, which is up on my wall right now, he does not have a tail. And that is because I did not remember to draw one. How sad is that? Alright. Alright, when I'm done filling in this area, I'm going to step back and take a look at the drawing and see how it's coming along. And look at it with you guys. Alright, not too bad. It's coming along. One of the good things about doing the cross-hatching behind the character is that it makes him stand out. He like pops out at you, and that is perfectly fine to have the hero of the story popping out at you. He stands out, and this is kind of a I'd say it's a useful cliche in my art, the idea of the foreground characters popping out at you and the background characters kind of melding into the background, which is exactly what these three wolves are doing in this image. Is they're part of the background, and maybe it is an Andrew trope. I don't know. Have I done it many times? Yes, I've done it many times. So I guess that little bit of storytelling magic is a thing I just like to do. So, but when this drawing is done, this is going to be a full page splash image, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. And it's a great opener to this particular story of Hawkeye. Him being chased by the wolves that want to catch him and eat him, and oh so nefarious things. Nefarious is a word that he would use, not them. The wolves in this particular story are not very bright. And Hawkeye is very much a storyteller, so he'll often use big words, and it's pretty funny. In the story in the book 1, when Hawkeye here comes across the wolves for the first time, he's talking to them, and he's saying kind of big words like, "It was very fortuitous of I to turn around and come back to check on my friends, and I ran into you little scallywags," or whatever he called them. I already forgot. And the wolves are looking up at him, and one wolf says to the other wolf and says, "What did he just say?" And the other says, "I have no idea. I don't speak gibberish." I don't know. In my mind, I just thought that was hilarious. But the wolves thinking, "We don't speak gibberish." All right, as you guys can tell, this is a very laborious, painstaking process. But I literally there was a artist that I really like who did a comic series, in which he digitally added a cross-hatching pattern over all the areas that would normally be black. And you could tell he did it digitally. So he pretty much said, okay, this area is black, and then he just filled it in. And I've done that actually in the past with some panels, just in order to, since I knew the area is all going to be black, just fill it in. And I actually had what we would call a halftone pattern. But in my case, it was just a large section of page that I filled in this way, and I would just cut and paste and plop it in wherever there would be total black areas, and it would honestly, it would just save time from having to actually do it myself, having to fill it in myself. But for this particular project, I want to do it. I've kind of described it to myself as an 8-page story in which I did it from start to finish. Meaning I laid out the whole 8 pages, I penciled all 8 pages, and then I inked all 8 pages. And then, of course, I will letter all 8 pages and have it ready for print. And I'm getting very, very, very close to having the print files for Hero Book 1 done. I printed up a proof copy and tore it apart. Found a bunch of things, bunch of little things in it that I wanted to fix and change, and I've already worked on several of it. Actually, I think I have the entire first chapter. The first 28 pages are completely done. I'm happy with them thoroughly. And the original story was 150 pages, and then there was a 4-page epilogue, and then there was an 8-page backup story. And now this is going to be a second 8-page backup story for Hero Book 1. And so there's a lot of work that's involved in it, but I'm getting closer and closer to finally being finished and being ready to publish at least another version of Hero Book 1. And I'm getting excited about doing it, and it'll be happening very, very soon. And one of the things I'm going to do when I'm finally done and I'm ready to make it available to the general public, all my friends like Glenn and Manuel will get a copy of the book, of course. You guys are great. I love y'all. So I'll be sending you all copies. But when I get close to being ready to start soliciting it, I will add like a commercial on the end of all my videos saying, hey, if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out this kid-friendly, all-ages book we did. It's available here at this website. Order it from us, and we'll see what happens. You know, I have thousands of people that check out my videos every day. If even a small portion of them check it out and order a copy, then, you know, woohoo! You know? And the best part is they get something for it, you know? It's not just a, hey, contribute to my campaign. It's, hey, you're going to actually get a copy of this book, you know? Something that we put blood, sweat, and tears into, literally. There was a couple of pages where something happened, and I actually bled onto the pages that I was working at, and I told my wife, look, dear, I'm actually putting my blood, sweat, and tears into these pages. Alright. I know if you guys are saying something, I'm not looking right now, so I can't see what's happening. So I will take a break in just a quick second and read any chats that have come in. I am trying very hard not to ignore you guys, but you know how hard it is to focus on one thing and try to do another thing at the same time. All right. Now you see it's coming along very good. Let's see what else is going on here. Yep, okay, I read that part. Hey, Richard, how's it going, man? He says, good evening, Drew. I pray all is well with you and said and the family. I am great. Fantastic. Liking this panel. Richard says, good evening, everybody. This old bird needs his beauty sleep. God bless you all. Mando says, good evening to my friend Richard. Mando says, good night, my friend Richard. And he says, you are my best friend, Drew, at Glenn and Avery. Absolutely cool. Since Richard's already left, that kind of defeats the purpose of what I was going to tell him. I met Richard last year at his home, and we talked. We had lots and lots of comic stories to tell, and I was telling him, I says, "Man, I really would love to do like an interview with you and have you tell your stories or tell some of your stories. And you don't have to tell all of them, you know, whichever ones you want to tell." But it would be great to be able to share some of your stories. And he told me he'd think about it. And I was talking to Todd and Avery, and I was like, you know, we got lots and lots of stories of our own. We should get together, and we should start, you know, recording, like, interviews, telling our stories about some of our adventures in comics and so forth. And both of them seemed open to it. Both of them seemed very, very open to it. So, it's something I want to do. None of the stories are vitally important, you know, and to us, they're just, you know, they're more interesting to us than anybody else. But they're stories we want to tell because somebody might find them interesting. You know, it's kind of like, it's literally what the whole scam channel is about. It's about me messing around with scammers, wasting their time and having fun doing it, and making a video to share it and tell the story to somebody else. You know, that's constantly what we're doing, is just sharing our stories or our adventures, you know, the conversations that we're having with some of these people. And, you know, sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they're stupid. Sometimes they're vulgar. But we always have a really good time, you know, screwing with them, having a good time, making videos, you know. And I hope to one day do some of these interview videos and actually talk about some of our adventures. I mean, the adventures are unique to us in the fact that, you know, the only people that would probably only really get a kick out of the story is us. But, you know, you make a video and somebody listens to it and gets inspired by it and makes their own video talking about stuff like that. And it's like, excellent. Because you never know. Because, I mean, just because we've had an adventure, it doesn't mean somebody hasn't had a similar adventure and, you know, wants to share the story, you know. The first story that I told them I wanted to focus on was the time we met a professional artist that really inspired all of us. He was an amazing artist. He's still around. He's still doing work. He's an amazing artist, and we love his stuff. But at the time, we were trying really hard to get our feet into the door to create portfolios, to actually do that. And he was one of the very first artists that took a look at our work and, you know, was honest with us. And he wasn't brutal. He was very nice. And we all look back on that adventure and appreciated the fact that the guy took the time, you know, gave us some words of encouragement, which is exactly what we needed at the time, and we loved it. We had a great time. There was a lot of build-up around it and to the story, and that's part of why I want to tell the story. But I want to include Todd and Avery because they were there, and they may have, you know, a different recollection of what happened, and, you know, sometimes that's a good thing. All right, I am going to, all right, as I said, I had it originally created a shadow behind him, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that shadow in. I'm kind of cheating a little bit here, filling it in with Sharpie. It's okay. I said I normally don't do that for black areas, but my quill pen does not want to work properly this evening, so we're going to cheat. All right. So what I'm doing here is I created this sketch, this hash. It's not hashtag. It's hatching background. And then what I'm doing is I'm adding a second layer of shadow on top of the hatching. It'll make sense in just a second. Kind of what I'm doing. So you have the rock behind him, which of course is dark because there's a shadow on it. And then I'm adding a second layer of shadow directly behind him. Kind of makes him stand out a little bit more. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but that's the effect that I was going for. And what I'm going to do, just to establish the rock a little bit better, I am going to outline it in solid black using the Sharpie. Also to clean up a little bit of the stray lines that I have going on here. This is only it's only going to, I mean, on the original art, it's going to be more helpful looking at it on the printed page. Now, what did I just do with the pen? Okay, there it is. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more lines to some of these areas. Now, I had originally thought about doing a bunch of watercolor wash in this, and I may still do it, but I'm only going to do it in the far background. You'll see what I mean eventually. So you have the main character who stands out. He's black and white. You have the background, which kind of fades into each other. The rocks, the trees, the wolves, they're going to kind of fade in together. And then in the background, behind the trees, will be a bunch of watercolor wash, kind of forcing the background forward and then forcing him forward. And then, of course, I'm going to have another layer in the front, which will separate him. So it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4 different dimensions in one page. So, yeah, you know, we fancy here, you know. Try to establish, you know, try to be fancy. Going to add a little bit more shading and shadowing here. Honestly, the wolf, you got his head here, but where would his body be? So I'm going to put, you know, just put some shading here to represent mass. Like there's some mass behind here, and that of course would be the wolf. And then, actually, yeah, that's about right. I mean, it doesn't have to be anatomically correct or perfect. And then we're going to add this darker layer here. And then what we'll actually do yeah. Okay, you remember that part where I said I don't like to fill in blacks with the Sharpie? You know, do as I say, not as I do. All right. I got to keep this project going forward. So we're gonna save some time. We're gonna do some. We're going to fill in some blacks here. All right. I did this for several pages in Hero, where I just filled in, you know, just filled in areas with lines. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's one of the advantages about doing art like this is you can go as crazy as you want. what's fun about doing backgrounds like this is a little stray line here and there. It actually works in your favor, you know. So we'll do this here. I just realized you probably couldn't see what I was doing back here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just a little bit smaller and use a different Sharpie pen and do some additional lines. Just add a little texture to the lines we've already created. I would have liked to have done this with the quill pen, but that's okay. We get the same effect doing it this way. Doesn't have to be pretty. It's so funny as this one was done with quill pen and these were not, and you can tell the difference. But that's okay. When all is said and done, everything will be hidden just fine. All right. What's so funny is that some of these areas on the edges are going to get cut off anyway, so you're never going to see them, but that's okay. All right. And then, all right, so we're coming along pretty good. What do you guys think so far? So I will add some, the next step is going to be adding some gray wash to the backgrounds, once again to make the background stand out a little bit further. And then I'm cleaning up the pencil marks because it's not a big deal. But the gray wash will add another layer to it. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scan this in all its black and white glory. Oh, I didn't do the foreground, but that's all right. That'll be later anyway. But, all right, so what do you think? Coming along pretty well? It's almost done. I could probably finish this up next week. Or what I might do, since I'm so close to getting done, what I might do is actually finish up during the week and make a video of it. Oh, I just realized I just saw a spot I missed. There we go. Just filling in a spot. Oh, who else came in here? Hey. Oh, hey, Cross. How's it going, man? All right. So we're getting close. Almost finished. And then I'm looking forward to jumping into the next page. I may go back over some of this with the quill pen if I can get the damn things to work properly the way I want them to. But because I'm happy with this tree here, the texture on it, but I'm not happy with any of the ones in the background because, you know, Sharpie is not the best way to do this. But that's okay. Coming along, coming along. Fill that in. Fill that in as well. That'll make me happy. All right, well, guys, I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me. Thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday for the normal Saturday live stream. I'm going through some of my my scam calls for the past couple of weeks, and turns out I had a whole bunch that I could string together. Like today, it was all home improvement scams. I'm actually doing 2 days worth of marketplace scams, and then I got a whole bunch of random ones I'm going to throw together. But I had some really great fun calls, so I'm looking forward to it. Oh goodness, Cross says, not good. My dad's cancer came back, and the doctor says he has 3 to 6 months. Oh my goodness, dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, my friend, we will talk soon, I hope. All right, guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Everybody be safe out there, and I will see you guys again very soon. Take it easy, guys.